Well, who expected that today as we see Mike Babcock resign as the head coach of the Columbus Blue Jackets? I definitely didn't expect it, and I do apologize because the house is crazy today and I'm not going to be able to do a video normally like I would in the house. So we're in the car talking about this. I was previously working on just season previews, trying to catch up on those and get to 24 teams through and done this week, but then I see the news on my phone a little bit saying that Babcock is talking about resigning for the team. Of course, he's never even coached a game for the club, and now it does seem to be officially official. Babcock signed a deal with Columbus July 1st, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe it was July 4th. I think it was the 1st, and he hadn't coached in the NHL for a while now after being relieved of his duties by the Toronto Maple Leafs. And a lot of stories came out after his time coaching there about kind of his personality, how he really made things awkward in the locker room. So it felt like a weird hire, but at the same time, he had coached at the University of Saskatchewan and said that he had learned a lot of things coaching young men. He said he felt like he was ready for a new stage in his coaching career. Obviously, a guy that's had a lot of success in the NHL world coaching. He has been to the Stanley Cup final 3 times as a coach, winning one of those. Arguably could have won it in the other 2 finals as well and been a 3-time champion. Saw a lot of success over the long term with Detroit, saw some success with Toronto, obviously saw some short success with the Ducks back when they were the Mighty Ducks of Anaheim, but hasn't coached in the NHL since I think 2019. May have been early 2020, but still, he'd been away for a minute, signed with the Blue Jackets, and was going to be overseeing a team that was definitely still in a rebuild, or still is definitely in a rebuild, but at the same time looked like they were taking some steps forward, and he was going to be in command for at least 2 or 3 seasons and see how things went a little bit. All this comes down to him requesting to see photos on players' phones. It kind of seems murky at the moment. We might get more information on this as the NHL and the NHLPA are investigating this. Basically, the story came out that he demanded to see the players' photos or on their phone and looking at their photos to see what kind of person they were, and that is what we heard originally. Then we heard Boone Jenner and a lot of these other guys come out that play for the Blue Jackets and say, no, that's not how it was at all. I was talking about how I had like a wedding or something like that going on in the off season, and he asked if he could see photos. Then he showed him the photos, whatever the case is. But of course, you have other media personalities saying, no, not only did he demand it, but he's done this before. He has a history of this. He is a bad guy. I don't really know what's happening here, and I'm kind of assuming that there's more to it, to where it was more on the original side where he kind of demanded to see the players' phones. Again, I can't really say for sure one way or the other, but if you really don't have anything to hide, kind of seems weird to resign as the head coach, again, before you even coach a game. And we will see, I guess. I will say this, really not a great thing for Columbus. Preseason is starting in less than 2 weeks. So we have regular season games that are going to be starting in less than a month. So to go from having a guy that has been to the Stanley Cup final 3 times as a head coach, and to see a guy that was really itching to kind of get back into coaching for a side that hasn't seen playoffs in multiple seasons in a row, you're kind of wondering what's going to happen here for them, and are they going to be in a bad spot? All in all, though, if it was more so of the demanding to go through players' phones, good for the players and good for the franchise to be able to get them out of there to where, this is not old-time NHL stuff. The coaches need to understand there are boundaries, but I guess we will see. What are your thoughts on this, and what do you think is all going to happen here? Will we find out stuff right away? Will this be something that is more of a slow burn, and is Babcock's time in the NHL done? I'd love to hear your thoughts down below in the comments. Subscribe if you're new. Also getting a bunch of season previews out, by the way, this week. So everybody stay safe, have a great night, and you go love hockey all right. Goodbye, Brigadiers and Brigadettes. This is your captain signing off. Have a great night.